Look no further. This is the video that will explain to you how to learn, or maybe not how to learn, but it will explain you what to learn and what path you might take to start earning as an artist. In this case, a 2D artist, because I am a 2D artist. And this should make it a little bit easier for you to understand what steps you need to go through to actually be a professional artist. It's not the only way, but it's one of the ways. Everybody has a different path. But if you are like a complete beginner and you need some basic structure on what to do and how to approach it, this should be enough for you to just start something, start doing something. And without any further ado, let's get to it. So the most basic stuff that you need to do is to actually get interested in the topic. Absolutely the best books that I always recommend to pretty much everyone, and I have been teaching for a very long time because I used to teach people for the entry exams at Academy of Fine Arts or Architectural Studies and everything. Those books are a staple in my opinion, and they're extremely important to basically read, copy, redraw, and rinse and repeat. Just do it several times and you will have a much broader understanding on the topic of art in general. Because if you are a beginner, there is a huge chance that you have no idea what the art actually is and what are the requirements for, let's say, the game industry or whatever. And it's hard to blame you for any of it, because this shit's kinda cryptic. It's very hard to find any sensible info in what this occupation exactly is, because there are so many different variants in it. And the stuff that you will be doing is so varied that it's really hard to know exactly what you want to do when you are starting out. But the core thing is that you need to know how to actually make art. So you need to learn how to draw, how to paint, you need to learn how to think. This is extremely important. And then, maybe then you will be ready to join the industry and work as a professional artist. So to keep it relatively simple, I would go from left to right with those books and basically read, copy every single drawing, but not only copy without thinking, try to understand what you are doing, and at the moment don't question it why you are doing it. At the moment just copy it, have fun with it. This is why I said the fun with a pencil as a first book, because the mindset is extremely important when you are learning art. It is key and crucial for you to actually be able to pursue art. So, for example, later in the books, you have Scott Robertson books, How to Draw and How to Render. I don't know a single soul on earth that can start with these books and actually get so invested in them that you would want to continue. In my opinion, those are so extremely technical that you really need to have a solid mindset to start with those books, learn from them, and then apply the knowledge. And this is why I decided to place those books as last, but we will get to them. And while you are also reading, and just in case you can find all those books, free PDFs all over the web, it's very easy to find them. Also there's a page like Save Loomis or something like it, where you can just download them or you can buy them, whatever works with you. While you are also drawing and copying everything and studying everything, try different techniques, try pen, pencils, whatever. I would suggest cheapest pens, cheapest paper, cheapest brushes, cheapest whatever. Just try to copy everything over and over and over again. It won't be easy, it will take time, just have fun with it and have fun with it. And if you are aiming strictly into gaming industry, let's say the magical term of concept artist, something that is extremely overused nowadays, but maybe not only a concept artist. In general, you want to work in games or movies or whatever, the broadly named entertainment industry. I believe that everything that Feng Zhu uploaded to FZD School YouTube channel, you just need to listen to. So in my ways, how I used to do it and how I still do it, because I still watch his videos over and over again, I tend to put them on a second screen or whenever I work or do something. I usually try to just watch some of the videos, and it's really helpful because, for example, if one video is like an hour long and I am just drawing something, just studying some topic or whatever, then I'm drawing, he is talking on the side, I am listening, like sometimes yes, sometimes not listening. That was very good English. Sometimes I'm listening, sometimes I'm not. And then I can rewatch the same video, like let's say 10 times, and every single time I will pick up something new, like a small new information, or I will see something interesting in the video. And this way, this will basically allow me to have a resources to watch while I am drawing for ages. It won't end. Other channel that I very highly recommend is Proko TV, Stan Prokopenko, because he very greatly explains lots of topics that you will encounter in these books. So for example, if you will have some issues with figure drawing for all it's worth, there is a huge chance that you will find something in Proko YouTube channel that will explain the topic to you, and it will make it like much easier. Also, Proko has some cool courses on his site, so definitely worth watching. If, for example, you really want to deep dive into figure drawing, I believe he has some courses on it. Then there is Vats Atelier of the Arts, great videos, great just general knowledge about the art, just basically a great channel to listen to. And same for Steven Zapata Art. This one is a little bit more philosophical in a sense, but it's very calming for the side screen or while you are just drawing, and also have lots of great tips. So I am not saying those 4 channels are the only channels that you need to watch, because there are like dozens of different other channels that are extremely valuable. But to keep it simple, I believe if your aim is entertainment industry, those 4 are more than enough. And while also doing the studies on these books, I would highly suggest you to go only with traditional medias, because it's much easier to learn how to draw and how to paint while using pen, let's say 2B to 4B, cheap paper and pencils and whatever. I would recommend pen more than pencils if you are drawing some geometry, especially like stuff like this, like some figures and boxes and whatnot, because you can't hide behind pens. Like if you make a mistake, it's there to stay. And if you will learn to like cover it, this is a very valuable skill, but let's leave it for later. And when you are done with all those books, and this will take you like a year or something like it. So let's say, let me write it, this might be like 1 year of studying in here. So remember, take time. In my opinion, if you are like starting just like from scratch, I would say it will take you anywhere from like 1 year to 5 years of like very intensive learning to be, let's say, ready for the industry. The next book that I highly recommend to you, I've seen it several times, is The Dynamic Bible by Peter Hahn, because it covers a lot of cool aspects of thinking, different techniques of drawing, how to construct stuff, basically how to draw something in more alive manner. I won't spend like time, and also I can't show you the insides of the books because I doubt it would be legal, but this book basically is a very good starter for you to just start drawing freehand and to learn how to study. So basically you will take something and you will study it and you will learn how to draw it. So I would say this book, after those books, is crucial for you to learn properly how to draw and how to start imagining things. And then if you already know how to draw, like if you have the general understanding of like using your hand or whatever for drawing, for art purposes, I think it's a very good idea to incorporate some more knowledge about the color and light and about the imagination, basically. So not necessarily you should start painting, and I will touch on this topic later at this point, but you should be aware of certain stuff that they exist. So not necessarily you will be repainting every single artwork from this book, but I highly suggest you to make like a pencil study of every single artwork that is in this book and just like, yeah, study it and redraw it. If you want, you can paint it, but I would like redraw everything from it and from this one. But it's good to be aware of certain stuff that exists. So not necessarily you're going to use this knowledge like right now, but just the fact that you have this like on the back of your head will make it much easier later, because what you are doing right now is you are building a library of knowledge that later you will be able to reach out to, and it might be easier for you to find resources in the later steps of learning. Another very good book that kind of uncovers the entire concept arty thingy, the entire concept art topic on like what it is and what you might be doing if you will be an artist, is The Skillful Huntsman by those writers, those artists. And it's a very nice book that shows that not necessarily every single time if you are working on a games, on illustrations or whatever, that you will be producing beautiful art or whatever. Of course, a lot of those images in here are great and are very nice, but more often than not, like let's say the early sketches, the exploration of everything, it's not that super pretty. So if we are not going to refinement and whatnot, I would say this book is great to learn how to sketch, how to make ideation, because if you want to be in the end the concept artist, or artist if you want to work on illustrations or whatever, ideation is extremely important part and it's very often overlooked. So this book is great for it. And then after like you have the backup of all what we had in previously, I would say you might be ready to tackle those books, because as I said, those are much more technical. So in this case I would like say 1 or 2 years of studying those books on and off should be enough for you to gather extremely solid amount of like knowledge and at the moment experience, because everything that you will be drawing should always evolve. And one of the things that I also wanted to touch upon is some memes, but I will show them soon. And because this book is very highly technical, so it deals with perspective, it deals with like let's say POV, like the how wide you can see like the camera lenses and whatnot. I should not make this gesture, but the lens width and everything, the lens length or however to say it, this will deal with a lot of technical stuff. So it's much harder, and if possible, find someone who already know this and that will be able to identify some errors that you might be doing and to explain them to you. Then it will be much faster to learn it, but yeah, this one is complex. But one of the things that you will be also doing very often, especially if you don't know what you want to do, like in the entertainment industry, is you will be using some 3D. So in my opinion, it's a very good idea to learn Blender. Like basics are super easy. Basics will take you at most like month, maybe, and you should be able to do vast majority of the things that you might need. Blender Guru should be more than enough for you to learn. And this is important because if you know, my dog is licking herself, stop. If you know how to make simple 3D models, so for example, I just found those in Google's, let's say something like it, you have a very good 3D base for drawing. So if you want to practice drawing interiors and you are not sure how they would look like, or if you want to practice drawing some churches or whatever, you can build yourself a 3D reference, because using references is crucial. I forgot about this in this plate, but I will talk about it. But the general idea is very often, for example, in video game industry, you will be getting a very simple 3D blockout like this, and they will tell you, okay, you are a concept artist, based on this interior, do something cool with it, so we can move it further in the production pipeline or whatever. And for example, in my case, I really like to use 3D in my artworks because yeah, it is just fun for me. So, but it's very good to know at least one 3D software. It won't hurt you. And super important part also is to learn how to use Photoshop, because I would assume 99% of you will use Photoshop in the professional environment. And Photoshop has fuck ton of hidden different things that you can do with it. So the generally named graphic design, typography, or whatever tricks that Photoshop can do can be extremely helpful. And yeah, just learn it. If you don't feel like drawing, if you don't feel like painting, if you don't feel like reading, I would say just do tutorials from Envato Tuts, just find some cool text effects or whatever, learn how to do stuff like this, how to do stuff like this, how to recolor stuff. There's also a very good YouTube channel, I forgot about him to include it in here. I believe it picks him perfect. So it's very good channel to learn Photoshop. And yeah, if you know how to use Photoshop, your life will be much easier. Because for example, you painted something, but client all of a sudden says, yo, this needs to be red, not blue. And within 5 clicks, you can turn it blue or red or whatever they wish, if you know how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, you might waste like 5 times repainting everything from scratch. So Photoshop definitely is extremely important to learn and to know how to use it properly. And about the memes, when you will be learning, there are tons of traps to fall into. And this one, I believe, is the most known. And it basically applies to pretty much every single thing. In this case, if you will be learning for like a year, you will feel that you are industry ready, that you know everything about art and whatnot. You are absolutely not, and most likely around year 1, year 3, something in between, you will be in here and you will feel like you know everything. Then you will start getting some commissions and whatnot, some harder topics, and all of a sudden you are here and you just feel like you don't know anything. This is perfectly normal, and this is a little bit more advanced idea of this meme. But the general thing is, like, if you are learning art, if you are learning how to paint, hide your ego like in a backpack or whatever. Like, get rid of your ego, because learning all this is extremely fucking humbling. This is hard, and it really takes a lot of like brain power to go through, and it will be hard. It won't be easy, it won't be pretty, and you will feel down lots of the time. But in general, it's very fun and it's very rewarding. It's kind of like beating a boss in Elden Ring. Like, you can't draw something and all of a sudden you can, and then you can't draw it again, but then you can draw it, and yeah, it's great. And also what is cool, from time to time when you are drawing and painting or whatever, you will have something like this. I tried to find the original meme for this one, but I couldn't find it, so I made it on my own. Sometimes you will just like have your day, all the stars will align, everything will be perfect, and you will crank out an artwork that you won't be able to like repeat anywhere near in the next year or two. Like, basically it will be like your opus magnum at this moment. Your skill level will just basically hit the ceiling, like break through the ceiling, and you will be like, what happened? Like, why? What was that? And yeah, it happens all the time. And the more you practice, the more you draw, the more you paint, the more often it will happen. And also, what is extremely important in all of this, if you only copy but don't apply the knowledge to your own stuff, it will be quite useless. So if you are only, let's say, to find a good analogy, you're, I don't know, training hitting ball with a rocket or whatever. Like, if you exercise but don't put the exercises into the work, I can't imagine any good analogy. If you exercise but don't put exercises to work, they will be quite useless. So don't feel obliged to only do the stuff that are in here. If you want to draw, like, for example, if you are studying humans, but you feel like drawing a dragon, just draw a dragon, like, have fun with it. It's not like set in stone that for the first 2 or 3 years you can't paint a dragon or whatever, like, that it's forbidden. No, if you feel like drawing a dragon or painting a dragon, absolutely do it. And those books will help you most likely drawing or painting one or whatever. Like, don't feel obliged to like follow those steps like one after the other. Have fun with it. So if you are really into drawing, I don't know, lizards, draw lizards. If you want to draw a dragon, study lizards. Apply the knowledge that you learned in here to study lizards and make a better dragon. And this, I would say, is a very good start to occupy you for like 1 or 3 years or something like it. And the other thing is the dedication that you will put into learning all of this. And also, sorry that I don't make any breaks for talking, but I wanna keep it as compact as possible. But yeah, if, for example, you are learning every single day for 2 hours for 5 years, you have 3,000 hours, 3,650 hours as experience, like, let's say. Of course, it is pretty much, I would say, impossible to draw every single day, like consistently like a machine, because you are not a machine. It is hard. This is just a very simplified version of thinking. But the idea is, if someone spends 4 hours a day instead of 2 hours, then this person, like, theoretically, or however to say it, will gain the same like experience in 5 years that the person above would gain in 10 years. And if someone paints for 8 hours a day, then in 5 years they will achieve something that the first person would achieve in 20 years. So this is quite big discrepancy, like knowing that something will take you 5 years or something will take you 20 years. This is a huge difference. And the other thing is that tons of people forget about is everybody has different predispositions into doing everything. So you will have people that will draw and learn for 2 hours a day for a year, and they will be industry ready level, they will be extremely super skilled, and those people exist, and you have nothing to do with it. It's just beyond your possibilities to change. You can't fight it. And it might happen that, for example, you are just like a slow learner, but you are extremely good at something else in the art world. And yeah, someone might spend a week learning on how to draw a hand, and they can crank out like perfect hands, drawing hands and whatnot. And after a year, you just can't get it. It happens. Like, everybody has a different path, everybody has different experience, different predispositions. But yeah, just remember, you are walking your own path, your own way. So in this case, don't compare yourself to others, because there will always be someone younger than you who is better than you at certain something. It will always happen. So like, don't bash yourself over it. But the thing you can do that would work on every single person who is learning is to take care of yourself. I mentioned it in previous videos, but the general idea is eat relatively good food, have nice sleep if possible, exercise something, because if you're hurting, like if everything hurts, you won't be able to like sit for 8 hours and learn how to do art. It will be impossible, and then do art. If like the body is ready, then the art will be ready. If you feel good, the art will feel good. If you feel bad, the art will feel bad. This is like a key thing to remember. And I would say at first learn how to draw, because in drawing you need to show everything. You cannot hide anything. You can make some suggestions on what is what, but learn how to draw. If you know how to draw, then you know, like, then you don't know how to paint, but learning painting will be much easier, because a lot of techniques from drawing you will be able to use in painting, but not that many techniques from painting you will be able to use in drawing. So learn to draw first, then learn to paint, then combine all the skills together. And this brings me to the fact that also when you are learning art, when you are doing all of this, there is something that is extremely overlooked, and those are the soft skills. So this basically gives you job. If you are extremely rude, unpleasant to work with, unpleasant to talk with, you're hard to communicate or whatever, people wouldn't want to work with you. It's as simple as that. So the soft skills are something that you really need to learn and work on those, because if you're a prick, I doubt someone will want to work with you. And personally, in like, let's say in my experience, I much more prefer to work with like, let's say less skilled artists. That is just nice to work with, where I just work with someone who I like personally. And I don't have to like them, but it's nice if I like them. Than someone who is extremely skilled but is an absolute dick and it's impossible to work with them because they're just mean or whatever. So just be nice, and yeah, those four and you will be good to go. Like, learn to communicate, read everything thoroughly, like know what you are expected to do or what you are learning or whatever. Be able to ask questions. This is extremely important. Like, don't pretend you understand everything. If you don't understand something, just ask a question. And this also goes to learning. If you don't understand something, just maybe find someone who can explain it to you or whatever. And yeah, it will be nice. If you want, maybe I can explain it to you. I have a Discord server. If you want an invitation to Discord server, because it's like kind of semi-closed, just let me know like, somehow in the comments, and yeah, I will drop an invitation link. So maybe you can ask me on the server or whatever. Maybe I will be able to help. It would be cool. And the soft skills, also going back to those are something that are relatively hard to learn. And if we are starting as a beginner and we want to get the holy grail of working on the biggest titles and biggest IPs in the entire world, you will need a very nicely developed soft skills. So I would very highly recommend to you to start working on those on, let's say, low risk targets. So there is much less risk for your professional career if you will like just fuck up the relationship with one person who gave you a private commission from, let's say, some sort of a D&D group or whatever. There is not much risk involved. Of course, this person might tell some people like, don't work with this guy because like he is not nice to work with, but it won't like hinder your ability to be in the industry. But if you will start your work, for example, working with, I don't know, TYPHON, and they wouldn't like working with you because you are just not soft skills developed, it means basically one of the biggest companies in the entertainment industry will maybe blacklist you, or you wouldn't hear from them for many years. And this would be a problem. Same for, let's say, Epic Games or Blizzard or whatever. Like, don't try to learn how to behave or how to talk with clients on the biggest clients. Go, I would suggest, personally, this is pretty much what I did, go from the smallest people to like increasingly higher, let's say, caliber of the clients. And yeah, you will see how it works. So for example, when I was doing some private commissions really back in the day when I was just starting to make art, one guy called my mother to tell me that I am not nice because I expected to get paid for the commission because he was a friend of my mother. You will meet people like this. It will happen. I will always mention this story because it's quite funny. And also, if you will be working for smaller companies, less risk is involved because there is a huge chance those people, the indie devs or whatever, also don't have highly developed soft skills, so you can practice some negotiation skills. And we won't talk that much about the negotiation tactics or whatever. It might be a video for the future, how to talk with a client and how to talk about money with the client, because this is a very broad topic that is very often overlooked. But yeah, increasingly like make it harder. So go from normal through nightmare, through hell, through like torment 13 or whatever, in terms of like the risk about the soft skills. And in general, it's not that easy. Just replay on time, be nice, smile, and yeah, that's pretty much all. And also, it might happen that when you already know how to draw and that you are, let's say, industry ready, that you will get picked up by some sort of an outsourcing studio. This is a random occurrence because in the outsourcing studios you will work with pretty much everybody from this group. It depends. You just need to try it. You will need to explore what you like for yourself. But personally, what I think the easiest way to start making art professionally, so you know all this, you practice, you learned, you have some body of work, like not somebody to work with, but some body of work, that like some illustration, like some portfolio, then I would say trading card games, or in general card games, are relatively easy targets for you to get a work on, because let's say you have a new card game or new project, they need an illustration and they need like 300 illustrations. Like someone gotta pay those illustrations. So if, like, let's say you get a private commission from someone who ordered throughout the years like 20 characters, maybe one of those guys will create a game and they immediately will think about you if they liked working with you, like, hey, I know a guy, maybe he wants to illustrate my card game. And this is the list of the card games that I found on the Wikipedia. There's a lot of them, so it's like 300 of them. Let's say every single one of them has, like, I don't know, 100 illustrations. This would be a lot of illustration that needs to be done. And yeah, this is one thing. The other thing, board games, those basically release daily, and every single board game also requires a lot of art. So this is also a thing that I recommend to learn Photoshop, because sometimes maybe you will be asked to prepare your files for print, or maybe you will be responsible to create some UI, some logos or whatever. If you know how to use Photoshop, of course, it does not mean you can create a logo, but you will have the general idea on how to approach it. It's a very random thing that you might be working on. But yeah, apparently there are around 140,000 board games on Board Game Geek. I am 100% sure in the entire gaming industry there are not that many people. Like, it's not 140,000. I would be very surprised if there will be that many professional artists in the video game industry or game industry or whatever. And for the games, you have 5 million games in the world, which is absolutely mental. Like, there is tons of opportunities for you to work on. Like, there are thousands of different projects that you can work on. Of course, it's a bit harder nowadays because like the entrance level is much higher than it used to be, like, let's say 20 years ago. And with all the AI crap or whatever that is happening, it might be even harder. But in the end, if you know how to draw, how to paint, how to talk with clients, people will prefer to people might. I got slightly taken aback because now I just noticed that it told me that the recording stopped, but it's all G. If I lost my train of thought, but the general idea is, if you have a body of work, you are nice to work with, you have a nice portfolio, you will find something to do. Because even now, like, I just checked Kickstarter on games. At the moment, there are 98,000 projects on the game, so you will find something. And this is also one of the techniques or tactics you might see, or you might try. Just search the board games that you enjoy, in the style that you like, and write to those companies. Do you need art? Do you need someone to work on your art? I have seen your Kickstarter is successful. Do you maybe plan to make another Kickstarter project? And there is a huge chance someone will like reply to you and they will tell you that, yeah, of course I do need, and you found yourself a job. And one of the things that is extremely important while you are learning all this, while you are doing art, is not to focus on the money. Because if you start with a goal of earning money, you are in a right for a disappointment at the beginning, because If, for example, you think, okay, I will be a full-time artist and I want to earn a lot of money after a year of drawing, for example, you will try to make it in here. You want to earn a lot of money while you are on the Mount Stupid, but you are not getting any commissions. You will get really discouraged and you would not want to continue like this path. And as I said, it's a very demanding and it's a very hard occupation in general. So focusing on the money too early will only hinder your process, because you will be stressing about the money, you will be stressing that you are maybe not good enough to earn money or whatever, that people don't want to pay you for your illustrations or whatever. And this will really slow down your process of like learning. So don't focus on the money. I would say the general rule is kinda like with the social media. So for example, in this case, let's say you're already painting, you have done a lot of personal projects or whatever, you started uploading your stuff to the internet. I would say only upload good projects. You will know what is a good project or not after like some years on like watching our station or whatever. And then there is a very simple rule. If with quality kinda comes the results. So back in the days I used to post pretty much everything that I have ever done, and the results were very mediocre. So I would like post 20 sketches or whatever and we get like one following or something like it. It was bad. But I was focusing on getting followers, not on improving my art. But at some point I made a switch in my brain, like, man, I'm not doing it for the followers, I'm doing it for like myself. I want to have fun, I want to produce quality work, and if you have quality, the quantity of people will come at some point. So yeah, like for the recent stuff, before I, like let's say half a year ago I have 2000 followers, I started to have fun with art again, I started doing better quality work, started uploading it, and I tripled the amount of followers that I have. And it also gave me tons of different opportunities to work on. So 6K is nothing crazy, but it's nice, it's good to know someone likes my work. And about your work also, creating the portfolio and reaching out to clients and having something to show to people, I honestly would limit myself to only 3 platforms, ArtStation, because this is like the most basic stuff you can imagine. Basically every single person who is looking for someone, for some sort of an artist, will go through ArtStation. Nowhere else. This is like a basic stuff. LinkedIn is very good to find job opportunities, and maybe you will get recommended by someone, or maybe you will learn about a company you had no idea existed. It's nice to just have LinkedIn and make sure to like set it up properly, and then tons of stuff and opportunities might happen through the thing. And what is also very important, make sure that your contact info is easily accessible in ArtStation and in LinkedIn, and that your portfolio is very easily accessible. But a lot of those informations on how to craft a portfolio you will find on the FZD School video. Feng absolutely beautifully explains how to create a portfolio. So to not duplicate the info, just watch every single of 211 movies videos from his channel. And yeah, and then when, let's say, you are ready to take some commissions or whatnot, you need to decide if you want to be a freelancer or a full-time artist. In my case, I did both. I prefer to make both because I like all the perks of full-time, because it's stable, like it just calm on my mind and I don't have to stress about work. Just, there are like, as I said, plus like benefits and the opposite of benefits in every single thing. I just wrote a few. In general, some people just like to work as a freelancer. It's just their preferred way of working. And if you are a very seasoned artist, you have a very well-known name in the industry, you will basically never run out of commissions, because companies will reach out to you and they will want to occupy you every single time. So you will have more work that you can handle. In my case, I prefer to go full-time with some sort of a company, work like on their projects as a priority, And if I feel that I have a little bit more energy in myself left, or instead of doing personal projects I want to make some commissions because tons of the commissions are just fun, I will just do some freelance. But only if I know that everything in the full-time is taken care of. And also this kind of goes to the soft skills and in general the ethics of work. If you are learning and you are ready to work, remember, if you are full-time, always prioritize full-time. Never do freelance in a way that will hinder your ability to do a full-time job, because then you might lose the trust of the person who hired you. So it's just not nice to go this way. It's not very honest. So kinda closing on the entire video on how you could approach getting hired, I would say this is the simple ideal path that you might partake. So learn for 1 to 5 years. Depends on you, depends on how much time you can spend on it. Like just learn. Be an artist, find joy in it, have fun with it. Make some ArtStation, Instagram, LinkedIn, portfolio pages just so people can see you. I would recommend posting anything that if you are doing something, only if it's like, let's say, if it's decent, if you are happy with it. I mean, if you want to post anything that you do in here, it's also fine. But remember that whatever you are uploading, you are projecting informations to the potential clients. So if you will be posting tons of unfinished sketches, you will maybe be viewed as someone who sketches a lot but cannot finish anything. Like, you will be hired for what you are posting on your social media. So if you are posting lots of illustrations, you will be hired to make illustrations. If you are posting a lot of ideation, concept art, something that is not as beautifully rendered but has cool ideas, you might be hired for those. So remember that what you upload will reflect on the potential clients that you might have. So if you want to work, let's say, for Diablo or for any other game, do stuff that is in line with them. Do demons, armors, some other stuff, whatever. Just make it fit in general. Like, I don't say make Diablo 5 as your portfolio project, but you could, of course. But just kind of target yourself somehow. Or maybe paint, I don't know, paint dogs as a hobby, but if you want to work as a professional illustrator for fantasy stuff, upload fantasy stuff. Extremely important thing, if you are not getting any commissions, because it will happen. At the beginning it's very hard, it might be very hard to get a commission from someone, because you are just basically an unknown person and someone needs to trust you. Work on personal projects, and this is crucial because those you can do however you want, and it might take you, like, I don't know, half a year to make one project. That's absolutely okay. It's always better to have like free quality broad spectrum projects for, let's say, illustration, concept art, callouts, some maybe 3D mockups, explanation boards, ideation, iconography, typography, some logo type design or whatever, tons of different stuff in it that shows that you can commit to something and you can basically produce a project that is big and that you committed to itself and that you spent lots of time. Those will always be better, like always, than, let's say, 20 mediocre illustrations. Always. It's always better viewed by art directors and anyone who is hiring that you have quality projects instead of quantity projects. Maybe you will be hired to do some quantity work at some point, let's say pre-production or whatever, but in general, if you show that you can commit to something long term, it always looks good for the employer. And then I would say go like this again. From private commissions to small companies to indie devs to bigger companies, corpus, or maybe outsourcing studio or whatever. That depends. Of course, it might happen that you started your journey, your portfolio is killer, like basically it's amazing, and you will get picked up by, I don't know, Capcom or something like it. It might happen. So it does not mean that you at the moment say, oh no, sorry Capcom, I don't want to work with you, or sorry Ubisoft, I don't want to work with you because I have not worked with like 20 private commissions, like guys from D&D groups. Like, no, it will be stupid to do so. Just, yeah, then you are starting from the very high level of something. And maybe after 5 years of working with them, you will think like, man, I want to work with some small company. Maybe a lot of people made a switch from like a huge companies to like small indie studios. That depends. And if you have some portfolio and if you have like maybe cover letter, because cover letter and CV, curriculum vitae or something like it, sometimes they are needed when you are applying to companies. If you have those and they are nicely written, maybe I will make a video at some point on how to write this and how to prepare a portfolio. If you deem the thanks you video not good enough for the portfolio, but I doubt you will, then apply to companies, because maybe now, I used my mouse to draw it, maybe now you are not getting any projects, you apply to 20 companies, they will most likely see your portfolio and they will be like, now we are not reaching back because we had like 500 people write to us and this guy is not up our volley at the moment, but maybe a year later they will be like, yo, this guy wrote to us like 1 year ago, after a year he's probably much better or maybe ready for our expectations, let's test this guy. And all of a sudden, after 2 years, they contact you back and they are like, yo, do you want to work with us? And maybe you will get hired, and good luck. Let me know what do you think, what questions do you have, if you have any questions or whatever about everything that I said in here. And yeah, good luck and get out of here. See ya.